Hello, I'm Sandra Pollock, founder of Open Mind Training and Development and your business coach. I support leaders like yourself and organizations to improve their focus on strategy around leadership management, organizational change, and diversity and inclusion. In our last session, we looked at your business vision. In this session, we're going to be looking at the two main sides of running your business. We are, as I record this, coming up to the end of the year. And I can imagine, if you're like me, I'm looking forward to the one time of the year where almost everything stops. And I say almost because we know that there are sectors that do not stop and that cannot stop. Where, when we say that, we're thinking of the health services, care services, restaurants, entertainment, even social media services don't stop. And also, security services, those that keep us safe, like the police and the like. But running your business, no matter whether it's a small business or whether it's a large or medium-sized business, the fact is we never really stop thinking about our businesses, do we? We never really stop thinking about those areas of responsibility that we have as we run our organizations. And even in those downtimes, we're still going to be thinking about running our businesses. So we'll be thinking about how can we get more customers? How can we improve the quality, the frequency of our services? How can we do what's necessary to keep our customers with us, to keep ahead of our competitors, and even more things? How can we create maybe a new product or service that will help us to remain ahead? What I'd like to remind us about in this session is the importance of giving ourselves enough downtime. Our brains and our bodies need that time out so that we are able to respond more creatively and to be more creative. So that our brains, we're able to come up with new ideas and find better answers and better responses to the questions that we, our customers, and our staff might have. And also how to allow ourselves to remain in that creative mindset. On a daily basis, we're usually focused on what needs to be done today, now, in order to deliver that service or that product. And this is referred to as working in the business. Working in the business includes tasks and activities that we do, like admin, doing the admin, managing people, managing our staff, serving our customers. That's those daily sales and marketing, even keeping up with our social media posting, making the product or service delivery, anything like that. Anything that directly leads to creating revenue comes under the category or that side of the business. I was mentioned two sides. That side of the business that is said to be working in the business. All of these things need to be done. And without these, we're not going to be making the revenue that we're set up to make. We won't be making the money that we're looking for. Unfortunately, though, many of us think that if we're not doing those activities, those tasks, then we're not working. But this is not true. There is another side of working, developing our business or our businesses that is equally important. And this side is referred to as working on the business. Without doing this element of working on the business, we really would not be successful. We wouldn't have a successful business. This is the side, that is really about our planning, our strategic development. These things are hugely important. Now, I must admit that there are times when I don't do this enough myself. But seeing that we're coming to this time where we're going to have, or we hope that we have a little bit more downtime, it's great to consider this important element of running our business. So, working on the business includes things like, looking at your vision, your mission, and the strategy. Planning, planning your actions, planning programs, planning of your activities, and planning of your service, developing your marketing strategy and the plans that go along with that, deciding on your targets and your plans to achieve those targets, developing a social media strategy. Is different from doing the social media postings, but you're looking at the strategy, what you want to achieve, and how are you going to achieve that? Where are your customers, and what are you going to do to make sure that you reach them where they are? This is the planning side of things, checking out those numbers. And sometimes we want to avoid looking at the numbers. What targets have we set, but are we achieving those? What do the finances look like? So reflecting on our achievements to date is an important element of working on the business. Whether we've met our targets or not. If we haven't, then how come? What has brought about that failure of meeting those targets that we set? But if we have, what's worked well? Because we want to know that, so that we can then plan in continuing to do that if it's working. So this is a part of the business as well. Working on the business is doing those things that make the business successful. Without the planning, without the strategy, without the targets, how are you going to be successful? Because you don't know where you're going. So these are the things that ensure that your business is successful, that you are focused on what you should be focused on, and your business is being managed successfully. Working on the business could be said to be the time when you step back and take an objective view, keeping in mind where it is that you want to be going, and what it is that you intend to achieve. So you're stepping back from the business and looking at it objectively. It's a time when we ensure, for example, that the rudder of the ship or the boat is positioned to take us to the port we're intended to go to. If we don't stop that, we are busy every day, almost like busy fools sometimes, but we're not clear about what that busyness is bringing about. Are we making the right decisions? Are we not? And how can we improve things? Sometimes getting out of the busyness of working in the business is what you need in order to ensure that your plans for the business, working on the business, are going to be successful. Now, I know this myself, and from speaking to, oh my gosh, probably about 90% of customers, my clients, many of us often fail because it takes time to do this. It takes time, and we have to take time out. And sometimes even when we just take time out immediately, our brains don't necessarily switch down. We need a little bit of relaxed time, mentally and physically and emotionally, so that we can get our brains, our minds into the place where we can begin to be objective. It's almost like trying to take your emotional self and your physical self and your mental self out of the business. And, we often fail because of that time. Can I afford to put that time in? I'd like to say, if you can't afford to put the time in, then you're not going to be successful. It doesn't appear to be as active a set of activities, when we sit down and think, as maybe some of the other things, serving the customers, and those sort of daily delivering that service. sitting down thinking seems less active, but it is just as important. And when we think of planning, when we're thinking, we're strategizing, especially if we're doing it on our own, we worry that others may think that we're not doing enough, or we feel guilty. We feel this isn't work. We should be doing something more physical. But this is important. This is foundational as far as I'm concerned. But it's important that we plan time in for planning, strategizing, and reviewing what it is that we want to achieve and how we are doing that. I've known too many business owners and managers who don't do this or don't do it enough. They're just working on and on, being in the business and focusing on the business. And then they realize far too late at the end of the year, at the end of their financial year, or the end of the year, when they do have time to step back, or something forces them to step back, then they realize that actually they've been off course. So if we do this more frequently, this will help us to remain on course and ensure that we are spending time to work on the business and plan it and strategize and work towards where it is that we should be going. So whether you're running your business on your own or not, if you're running it with another team, I'd like to encourage you to take time to work on the business, to ensure that your actions, the decisions that you're making, and even those daily activities are those that will bring about the success that you want to achieve. You'll only do this more effectively if you start doing it in the first place. When you ensure yourself that you've planned that downtime. Sometimes it's just as simple as putting time in your calendar, in your diary, making sure that it is there. It doesn't always have to be daily or weekly. It can be weekly, it can be monthly. But the point is to give yourself ample time for working on the business, planning, strategizing, looking at your vision, your mission, reflecting on what you've done, what you've achieved, and what you want to do going forward. One of the questions that I like to ask is, if you continue doing what you're doing now, or what you have been doing over, say, the last 6 months or so, is that continuing on that path? Is it going to help you to make the business successful? Are you going to achieve what it is that you want to achieve? So there's some simple things. It isn't rocket science, really. It's just about making sure that you give yourself time to work on the business and understanding the difference between the two. Working in the business is doing those daily activities that directly bring in revenue and income, and working on the business is working to strategize, to plan and that side, that second side is actually what makes the business successful. And I think the issue is that many don't quite understand that. That's the part that makes the business successful. So failure to do this is failure to deliver success, or the success of the business. So, and this is one of the things that I work with individual business leaders or business owners to achieve, because sometimes it's hard being objective yourself in your own business. So having that support of somebody there to, first of all, help you to take some time out so that you're not interrupted by the day-to-day. And this is especially the case if you are in either a micro business, or you're in a very, very very fast moving business or sector. Taking time out can be difficult. So sometimes it is, getting somebody to work with you means that you've got someone who's going to pull you out of that. So that's what I help people do. So as I say, it can be simple as putting dates regularly in your calendar and enough time. And then secondly, get someone to do it with you. This is where a business coach comes in really well, or mentor, someone who's going to help you be objective, and also someone who's going to assist you in focusing on looking at those uncomfortable questions, or the areas of the business that you might find uncomfortable, because I know some people don't want to look, for example, at the figures. They don't want to look at actually how much have we really made, what's the numbers in terms of the income, but also how much have we spent and how are we doing as we look at those two together. Also, are your staff clear about what they should be doing and the strategy that they should be working to? Sometimes those things are difficult because we have to face the truth. So getting some outside help, someone whose interest is only to help you succeed, is beneficial to helping you take that time to work on the business as well as working in it. This is what I support my clients to do. And, in many situations, just doing that, I've seen it quadruple revenue for businesses. And I have a couple who their ultimate intention was to retire. And they actually were able to build the business up, expand it, increase revenue, and retire earlier than they had expected. But it means working on the business. The only way you're going to make that happen, yes, you've got working in the business, the day-to-day stuff, but you cannot neglect working on the business, because that's the side that makes the business and you successful. So there you go. That's the main points for this session, and I hope that it has been useful. If you'd like some support to clarify your mission, your vision, but more importantly, to help you work on your business, then please do reach out. You can find me on my website, sandrapollock.com, or Google openmindcoaching.com or Open Mind Training and Development. And you will find me, or, I'm around on all sorts of social media as well. So thank you for joining me. Let me know when this comes out, whether it's been useful. And if so, how have you used the information that I've shared with you today? And if you have any questions that you'd like me to assist you with during these sessions, then please don't hesitate to drop me an email or find me on social media and share your question with me. So I'm Sandra Pollock, your business coach, signing out for now. I will see you next week. Don't forget, spend some time working on your business. Take care. Bye-bye for now.